Yeah, kinda. I mean, they're definitely not as interesting as before. Like, just take a look at this.
This is the latest iPhone, the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now, I'm not even going to say anything. You probably already know how this phone works and all. So just keep that in mind, okay? And just take a good look at it, okay? Now look at this. This is the very first iPhone, the iPhone 1.
Now, that was actually just a test for you. The first iPhone is the iPhone 2G, and this is actually the 3G. But the question is this, though. What is so different between them? What's so different between the first couple iPhones and the best iPhone ever made right now? I mean, you have apps on the screen, you swipe,
you go home. I mean, things are much faster now, and you do have widgets with the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and we just got that recently. But at the end of the day, things actually still work the same way. So things have changed, but they haven't changed so much.
But how were things before, though? Before the first iPhone was released in 2007, right before then? Well, things were very, very interesting then.
During this time, we had big upgrades. The previous popular phone was a BlackBerry, before that a Nokia, before that probably Motorola or Sony Ericsson, and they were all just competing against each other, and you never knew what kind of phone was going to come out next, you know? There were many exciting and innovative things coming out during this era. We're putting cameras on phones for the first time. There were lots of physical keyboards, phones that could slide out, phones that could open up, phones that just had the keyboards on there, and then we started leaving that all together and started going with on-screen keyboards, which are like controversial at the time. And things were just happening. Companies were just innovating and innovating and innovating and innovating. And then this guy, you might know him, had a conference. And at the end of it, he said this.
Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
And then he introduced the very first iPhone.
And here it is.
Yeah, my man Steve was just playing with y'all. He's a funny guy. Here it actually is, all right? The first iPhone right here, all right? Now, I don't need to tell you what happened next though, because you already know. You know, iPhones are the new standard right now. You go outside, you see iPhones basically everywhere. But let me ask you this though. When was the last time you saw a phone like this?
Or this. Or this. In fact, I'll give you $100 cash if you've seen a phone like this in the past week or so. Let me know in the comment section.
And I'm not joking either. Like, I'm out of my word, and I'm basically saying this in this video, this public video. So I'm basically, literally, legally obligated to pay you if you've seen it. Like, for real, true story. But yeah, basically, all the other phones and phone companies started dropping out of the phone race one by one, and people stopped caring about them, and we just stopped using basically all of them. Well, not all of them, all right? Around the same time iPhones were coming up and all the other phones started failing, this guy stepped into the mix.
And thus, a whole new era was born. The iPhone versus Android era.
Now, we're still kind of in this era right now, but these days, phones do mostly the same things. Even if it's an iPhone or an Android phone, like things are kind of lukewarm right now, you know? But that's not how things were before. Before, things were boiling hot.
Things were real interesting and innovative during the start of the iPhone versus Android era. You know, the iPhone 4S will go against the Samsung Galaxy S3, and then the iPhone 5 will be against the S4, and then out of nowhere, HTC would just come with probably, honestly, the most premium, good-looking phone design of all time, with great performance and speakers too. And damn, even BlackBerry was trying cool stuff to reclaim their throne back then. And many Android manufacturers were innovating left and right as well. And then iPhones had lower specs, but somehow they'll always perform smoother. But then Samsung would keep pushing things and the screens and the power and everything. But then iPhones will have really good cameras. But then Samsung will have really good cameras. But then the software will not be the best because of TouchWiz. But that's when Google will step in with the Nexus line of phones. But then some years the hardware wouldn't be the best. But then that's when Samsung will come back in. But then Google will come back in as well. And then they'll partner up and make Google Play Edition phones. And basically, things were just real interesting. That's just how it was back then. But nowadays,
things aren't so interesting. And Android phones aren't changing so much every year. I mean, they are, but not as much as before. And like, they're mostly doing the same things now. Like when there were notches, they were all doing notches. Now hole punch displays, in-screen fingerprint sensors. And I like all these things, but like they're all doing most of the same things now. Even like some weird stuff like headphone jacks and taking the charges out of the box, just stuff like that, you know? And then for iPhones, like things are even way less interesting. Like they're way more boring now. I don't even have to say much for iPhones. Like take a look at the iPhone 6.
And then the 6S. Now the iPhone 7, now the iPhone 8. You know, things change a bit with the iPhone 10 though, and the notch. And then we have the 10S, and then the iPhone 11, and then the iPhone 12. And you know, leaks have gotten excessive as well.
Which is great if you want to take a peek at all the new tech coming out. But now there are literally no surprises anymore in the tech world. Like Lou from Unbox Therapy even recently uploaded a video
showing us the body of the iPhone 13, which isn't even going to be announced for months. But then again, I didn't hesitate to click and watch the video though. So I guess we're all a part of the problem.
More so you guys though, not me. I'm cool. But if we take a look,
you see that even the iPhone 13 looks very similar to the iPhone 10 to 12 models. It just has a little bit of a smaller notch, and it's even still using a Lightning port and not USB-C.
Yep, phones are definitely more boring now. Yeah. On a more positive note though, this video is sponsored by SkillShare.
And SkillShare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. And yes, you can take classes on photography or productivity, or even just from a familiar face like I did. I actually just recently finished Marquez's YouTube success course. And yeah, you can learn a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I learned I have to be more consistent, and I might just take a productivity class to be better at that. And yes, if you're one of the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description,
you will get a free trial of the SkillShare Premium membership with no ads, so you can explore your creativity and learn a bunch of stuff. But at the end of the day, none of this stuff's gonna change the fact that phones are just not progressing the way they used to. You know, phones are just more boring now. Well, at least for the most part. You know, we've still gotten some cool, promising new tech in recent years.
And there's a bunch of stuff with potential we have to look forward to. You know, in-screen fingerprint sensors are very, very good and lightning quick now, basically. And there are companies right now that are working on some battery coil technology that can really revolutionize battery life and charging in the future. I've probably seen the most innovation with cameras, but they haven't even done everything that could be done yet. I mean, we see multiple different cameras on each phone these days, but soon we can have that. But then with the double aperture technology we saw from Samsung some years ago, and a company could even go for the ultra pixel idea that HTC attempted in the past and make a dedicated low light camera that could rival actual cameras out there. And speaking of that idea, a company could also go for it completely and bring out something like the Lumia 1020 again. And if they do it right, at that point, phones could really start to transcend actual cameras and DSLRs and basically render them pointless. I mean, if my phone that fits in my pocket can do everything almost as well as my camera, then why the hell will I still be carrying my camera with me everywhere I go? Also, why the hell will I be carrying my whole laptop or my iPad or tablet with me when I could have a foldable phone that can have the same exact screen size as the tablet, but can still find a way to fit in my pocket? Also, foldable phones just look cool. And who knows what's gonna happen when Apple finally gets into the foldable game. At that point, it won't be just tech people talking about this. This will be everywhere. We're gonna have teenage girls like, oh my gosh, Tiffany, your foldable iPhone is to die for. Oh my gosh, I could kill somebody. And the tech people will be like, what the hell, this happened like years ago with Android, and so on and so forth.
So basically, yes, phones are not the most interesting pieces of tech right now, at least not compared to how they were before. But a lot of stuff is in the works right now, and who knows what the future holds. I mean, I don't know. But you might think you do. So that's why you should leave me a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think phones are very interesting right now compared to before? Don't say that though. I'm gonna think you're lying. I'm gonna call you a liar. I don't want to call a subscriber a liar though. So that's why you should subscribe and like the video if you liked it. And you already said subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time. iPhone Fold concept iPhone. Alright. Okay. No. Okay, that's cool. I'll give you a like, bro. That's cool. I don't see it though. I don't see it, but I mean, it's cool. It's cool. Yo.